And to discuss more about his political aspiration, we're now being joined by Senator Ajayi Boroffice, the latest presidential aspirant of the APC. Very warm welcome, distinguished Senator.
Thank you.
And it's looking like a real crowded field. Well, some have been, would we say, forced out or quickly make a U-turn, and the rest. Some of your colleagues in the executive arm of government who had picked form and are dilly-dallying that they are not going. So what are you really bringing to the table and for Nigerians to trust and believe in your leadership qualities?
Well, thank you. I've been around in politics for some time, and I'm a third-time senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I served on various committees on Senate, and I've seen it all. I've seen it. It's like seeing the anatomy of Nigeria, and I believe that we're not where we're supposed to be, economically, security-wise, social development-wise. In fact, we are swimming against the tides of corruption, religious bigotry, indiscipline, national or ethnic nationalism. I believe that if I have the opportunity to be the president of this country, I will build on the legacy of President Muhammad Buhari. In fairness to him, he had done a lot to get us out of this problem. He has embarked on infrastructural development, which are very important for economic development. He embarked on reform of the power sector, which is also very important. The health sector also have had a fair share of reform by this administration. And it will be important for someone who has been going along, who has been watching him, to continue and build on his legacy. And I think I have all it takes to build on that legacy. We share a lot of things in common: integrity, patriotism, and audacity to do what is right.
I hear you say that, but looking at your declaration earlier on today, you did mention that Nigeria is still dealing with pre-colonial issues, and one would say maybe that's also an indictment on your party, the APC, which has been in power for close to 7 years, going up to 8. But let's talk about you right now. You've given us your blueprint as to what you plan to do, but I know that you're not the only senator in the Night Assembly who is seeking to replace Mr. President come 2023. What happens if you don't get that ticket to become the flag bearer of the APC? Would you be decamping, or would you consider buying a senatorial ticket to return you back to maybe the 10th Assembly?
I'd like to take you back a bit. APC government has been in power for 8 years, and Nigeria post-independence is 61 years. So you can't put the blame on the APC administration.
But you're talking about swimming in the tide of corruption.
Yes,
that's one of the pillars of this administration.
It's a build-up. It's a build-up. It's not something that happens overnight. And I've said the president is doing everything possible to revert the situation.
You are going to build on his
I'm going
legacy.
to build on his legacy.
A lot of Nigerians will be concerned.
Sorry, Christian, he hasn't answered the question.
Yes,
I asked
of course.
He was just reacting.
I don't think I will, because I did not pick the ticket to leave the party. No, I'm a loyal party man. I believe in APC and the doctrines of the APC. So I will not leave, and I will not buy a Senate ticket like some of my colleagues are doing.
Well, you moved around. I know you were part of the Labour Party at some point, and also part of the opposition PDP at some point, and you left because you didn't get your way.
I think you are wrong. I started with Labour, and I moved to ACN. ACN became part of APC. So I've only changed party once. So I've never been in PDP, and I don't think I have anything that is attractive in APC to drop in.
Olujimi, that you went to PDP, yes.
Okay. I think some Nigerians, I don't know, can't gauge their temperature now, but there's those for and against would not want to support your idea on building on the legacy of this present administration, particularly when you look at the economic, socio-economic indices. You mentioned one, insecurity, two, corruption. It's like, you know, busting the ceiling here. And when you talk of the issue of unemployment, particularly amongst the youths? What legacy do you really want to build?
I think it was.
Is it the 10 naira trader money or
the over 33% unemployment?
Yeah.
What I want you to understand, when President Muhammad Buhari came in, he said he was going to tackle corruption. It means corruption had been there before he came in. So he didn't bring corruption, he didn't grow corruption. He made corruption in Nigeria. And that is why he came in to say that he was going to tackle corruption. And let me say this. You see, when you start treating a problem from the symptoms, you get it wrong. The President Buhari has done a lot, but they are not obvious now. It's just like when you have malaria. When you have malaria, you have symptoms of headache, you have symptoms of fever, you have symptoms of, loss of appetite. If you are treating the headache will continue to come, it will go, it will come, because you are not treating the parasite that causes the headache.
But I'm sure your party must have identified the parasite from the other administration.
That is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What the president is doing is treating the cause, the roots of the problems. And it takes time before you see the manifestation of the results. So it takes time. What has been destroyed over years cannot be repaired in few years. So I appreciate him and I congratulate him that he's doing a good job by treating the roots of our problems. And with time, when this situation continues, which I believe is the gestational period, from the gestational period, what I intend to do is to midwife those solutions. Right. So that Nigeria can benefit from it.
Okay, I know that the president of the Ninth Assembly, who actually named you as the deputy majority leader, is also vying for that office. But we'll have that conversation with you. But for now, let's also let you know that the chief whip of the Senate, Ajayi Boroffice, says 9 presidential hopefuls from the All Progressives Congress are set to back the bid of the Senate President Ahmed Lawan. Well, Senator Boroffice, however, did not give the names of the aspirants. Well, on Monday, Kalu himself withdrew from the 2023 presidential race and endorsed the Senate President. Well, the Senate's chief whip says he took the decision because there is no zoning in the APC and the contest has been thrown open to all aspirants. While he claims the issue of the APC presidential candidate will be settled even before the primaries. The lawmaker believes that the Senate President Ahmed Lawan is from the Northeast and has similar sympathy with the Southeast that is yet to produce a president. So that marries to the question I was asking him earlier in terms of, your principal. Yeah. He's also vying for that office. And
they are first amongst equals. So you wouldn't say it's principal.
Primus inter pares. Yeah. Well, there's nothing wrong. We are both expressing our constitutional rights. The Constitution allows me to vie for this position, which also guarantees his own right to vie for this position. But Uzo Kalu's statement is his own personal view. It's not the chairman of the party, and it's not the leader of the party. It's just politicking, as far as I'm concerned, expressing his view, which is not the view. I would have loved him to name the 9 senators
who are going to step
down.
Or
aspirants who are going to step down. He is not in the race. So how does he come to know the
You're obviously not down? One of them.
Of course I am not.
But let's cast our minds back a little bit to your party's national convention. That consensus, some would say, helped your party not to implode. And looking at the number of people in the race right now, do you think consensus is an option here? I know that the president, is a man who believes in consensus.
Well, I don't want to preempt what is going to happen. The president has given the party free hand in nomination, and I think the party, led by the chairman and the president also, who is the leader of the party, will decide what is best for the party. That will not allow the party to explode. Before the convention, some of these other parties have opened their gates wide, hoping that we're going to have a very turbulent convention, and that many people would come from APC to their party, but it didn't happen because the president was able to handle it, and it was so smooth and no acrimony, and everybody was satisfied with the outcome of the convention.
But there's that fear of an implosion that if there is a consensus candidate in APC, it may just be, sounding the death knell for the APC. Do you share that view?
The same view was expressed before we had our national convention in respect of the election of the chairman of the party. So those who harbor that view, well, it is left to them. Let's wait and see. By the 30th of May, the issue of who is the flag bearer will be settled.
Distinguished Senator Ajayi Boroffice, and of course, a Deputy Majority Leader of the Ninth Assembly. Thank you so much for joining us, and all the best with your aspirations.
Thank you.